Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a look at how to unlock and rank up and build Dr. Voodoo with gameplay. I haven't played with him at all yet, so I'm super excited, and I think he's going to be a solid addition to pretty much everyone's roster, not only for his leadership, also because he's a universal hero, and he's cool as heck, and he might be the only strong poison damage dealing character in the game, but we'll have to investigate that. So first of all, how do you unlock, how do you get Dr. Voodoo? Well, there might be a shop purchase for him actually. I didn't check this one out. For crystals, there actually isn't, which is good, but you can get him from any of the daily biometric boxes that you get for just logging in. You can also get him from Shadowland bioselectors, any kind of bioselector that you get, whether it's for universal characters or it's random characters, you can unlock him. You can also get him from a 6-star selector. They have those in the shop sometimes for a couple of dollars. You could automatically get a 6-star Dr. Voodoo. If you're a new player and you have a tier 2 selector, Dr. Voodoo might be a really good choice for it. So here we go. I'm using my Shadowland biometric selector to get an additional 90 bios for him. I've already collected a whole bunch of bios to sort of smooth out this process, but now we're going to go ahead. I've dumped my 225 Shadowland bios from this week, plus last week, plus other bios that I had saved up. Really easy to unlock Dr. Voodoo. I would not recommend using a mega rank up ticket on him. I would also say you could consider not using a tier 2 ticket on him, which also means you should not use a mega tier 2 ticket on him. So we're going to rank him up now from 1-star to 2-star. We are going to be absorbing the gold cost here, but that's okay. You get to see this animation of him sort of flying and attacking towards us, disappearing, reappearing. I really like that animation. I really like the animation as well on, I believe it's his 3rd or his 4th skill, where he summons a bunch of skulls, and he has these sort of like intermittent iframes in a big circle. I really like that kind of stuff. In total, we're spending 630 biometrics to get him all the way up to 6 stars. There we go. So we got Spiritual Beckoning unlocked. We've got his base stats, you know, growing. They're getting there. We are going to fast track the mastery just because I don't want to make you guys sit through, you know, something that takes forever. So we're just gonna go ahead and use a ticket there for the mastery. There we go. Power of the Soul. The mastery is actually really important for Dr. Voodoo because of his passive. All debuff effects increase by 40%. This is the same leadership minus the additional effect, but this is the main valuable effect of White Fox's leadership. So any character that has all defense down, including Brother Voodoo or Dr. Voodoo, will benefit from this ability, from this leadership. So you can pair him up with Doctor Strange, you can pair him up with Deadpool, you can pair him up with other characters that have high amounts of all defense down, and he will allow them to do even more all defense down, which will basically allow them to do a lot more damage. So we're gonna now put in the XP chips that we need. He was already at level 40, so I honestly don't know how many chips he needs. So let's just guess and say, I don't know, 1,500, and let's see where that takes us. But I'm actually curious what happens for a level 40 character if the number of chips you need is actually reduced by that much. So that was 1,500 chips. So no, we're way short. So you know what? 1 to 40 is basically like worth 1 chip, I would imagine. Because we're going to need to use the rest of these essentially. We're going to drop this down to 3, let's go down to 50% here, and then just hopefully we get all the way up. Nope. Wow. Okay, so you know what? We're just going to fast track this here. I don't really want to waste any more time. There we go. We got ourselves a level 60 Dr. Voodoo, guys. We did it. Jeez. I should have just gone with the 1880. What is it? 1880 or 1900 level 5 XP chips. That's sort of the default to automatically get a character to level 60. I thought the 1 to 40 was worth more. It is not. Now we got to fix his gears here. We've got how many biometrics left over? Once we max these out to 15, we've got an additional 285. So this is a bit on the low end for the number of biometrics that I have. Hopefully we can get it. Maybe we need a few more bios. My average is about 350. So you guys will be able to see now when we sort of fast forward this, how many biometrics it takes for all of these rank ups.
Chipmunk voice. 18, wow.
Let's see what we end up with. We're probably gonna get stopped here. Yep. So there you go. We got halfway to 18 with 285 bios. That's not bad at all. We're gonna search through my inventory to look for a couple more biometrics here. We don't need a ton, but let's pop this 80 here. We are going to use a rank up ticket or a tier 2 ticket on him when we're all said and done. So hopefully we don't need too many more bios. But additionally, 150 bios is not that expensive. The Black Antimatter and the Chaos Nornstones are probably going to be the more expensive piece of getting him to tier 2. So let's see here. Oh, 2! That was so cheap. Wow. So with how many bios left over? 28. So 285, 360. So yeah, it took us about 330, give or take a few, 330 biometrics. So we were a bit under on that estimate. Now from here, I would say some people would build up the bios and just tier 2 him naturally. But because I have a lot of these and I don't need so many of them, this is my last tier 1 character. We get 1 per month. I'm just going to use them to fast track things. It's not a bad option here for Dr. Voodoo, but here we go. His final stat bump, he gets about 3,600 energy attack. He gets about 2,000 HP. Not the greatest, but we got the Master Haugen. Now let's see what his stats look like. 15.9 on the energy attack is a little low. 26,000 on the HP is pretty high, I would say. But I do think the attack and the defense stats are a bit low for a universal type character. Let's see, he's got ignore defense here, he's got all defense there, he's got double HP. He seems kind of PvP oriented, double all defense, double HP, but he's got no skill cooldown and no ignore defense on his gears. Well, sorry, he's got ignore defense, but no skill cooldown. So yeah, we're 3% off on the cooldown. We're way below, we're 33% for the ignore defense. So let's roll for, you guessed it, Power of Angry Hulk. Okay, so that was punishment for the very cheap 1 million arrow reroll for Power of Angry Hulk. That cost me about 10.5 million gold. So pretty awesome there. Going back to his skills really quickly, we need to level up the first one all the way to 6 so that we get the maximum percentage on the stats for the summon. Voodoo Beam, we also want to, never mind, just level it up to level 3 because the all speed doesn't matter. Skull Explosion, we definitely want to go all the way up to the top because of the all defense down, -6 up to -45 for 5 seconds with the poison damage. We got Soul Magic Eruption, which we also want to level up for the self buffs. So you can see there we go 25 all attack with the 1% all speed, all defense with the mind control and the invincibility. And then Spiritual Beckoning we also want to level up because of the all defense down, which again stacks up to -45%. Along with the extra damage. The really nice thing I can see for Brother Voodoo or Dr. Voodoo is he has really low cooldown on all of his skills. 14 seconds on Voodoo Beam and 15 seconds on Magic Eruption are actually the longest. So very, very short cooldown character, which is really, really nice. Let's give him some ISO 8 here. And let's see, he needs energy attack. So we need energy or all attack or energy attack. ISO 8. So let's go with fully awakened ones because I love me some Voodoo. And we'll see what his... We're not going to... You know what? For this one, we're not going to. We're going to have to awaken this one. I want to keep at least one fully awakened ISO of each type safe for any like super duper meta character that comes around the corner. I don't think Brother Voodoo is super meta, but we will re-roll. Actually, no, we're going to keep those. We're not going to re-roll those. I lied. And we will give him all attack HP because his HP stat seems pretty bulky. So we want to keep that HP stat quite high. And so there we go with Power of Angry Hulk set up stage 8 bonus. He's got 47% on the ignore defense and 47% on the cooldown. So we just need to drop a couple of Uru, and we're gonna awaken, or we're gonna amplify these Uru slots and see how much more gold that takes. So there you have it, pretty cheap for the Uru amplification. I went ahead and threw on 1 5-star skill cooldown amplified and 1 5-star ignore defense unamplified. Now I checked his details page and I was gonna give him another another Uru for ignore defense because you can see I'm only at 47.8. But then I realized that not only will I be able to get his gear to 25 here with the ignore defense at 573, but I'll also be able to get this ignore defense up from 1180 to 2077. That should definitely push him above 50%. So I might have not even needed that lone Uru right there, but we're gonna leave him like this, you know, not finished yet, but pretty built right now, and we're gonna see how much damage he does without an obelisk, and then we're going to throw on just a random poison damage obelisk without a proc, because I want to see if he's actually dealing poison damage, or if he's dealing poison damage as an effect that will be immune by world bosses, which won't trigger Soul Scream or sorry, won't trigger Voodoo Ritual. So we're going to look for whether he's healing, which means, you know, the poison effect is actually triggering. And then we'll also look for the poison damage notification, the gray notification, whether it's popping up or not. We're going to go ahead against a pretty easy stage 30 Ebony Maw. We don't want to die. We don't want any sort of problems here. We just want to test out, because that's really the big question right now, because Netmarble failed to put the poison tag or the energy tag on his skills, so we don't know which one is which. We're also going to bring along actually, you know what, we're not for this test. We're not. We're gonna bring along, I was gonna say we're gonna bring along let's just go with this. I was gonna say let's bring along Ancient One, because Ancient One gives a 25% elemental damage bonus. But what we'll do is we'll throw on a, you know, 30% poison damage Obelisk and Ancient One. That should bump up his poison damage theoretically to 55%, and then that should really show us the difference if there is in fact one. So we're gonna pop open with the 5 here. The damage is delayed, so we do have to recognize that. So we do see poison damage immunity pop up for Ebony Maw. You can see there that the gray text is saying poison damage immune, but he's still doing some decent damage. We don't know if it's just whether it's energy attack on his skills or whether it is the other effects, but we do want to take a look to see if we're getting a heal. So we did take damage. Now let's see if we actually get healed at some point and heal back that damage, because if we're not healing back the damage, it means that what's the point of his poison damage? Like, what's the point of his poison damage if the world bosses are going to be immune to it anyways, and it's going to never trigger? So that seems to be the case. So this is actually a problem. Netmarble did not foresee this at all, which is pretty sad. But yeah, they need to fix this for Brother Voodoo. For Dr. Voodoo. This basically makes no sense. Where are you going to use Dr. Voodoo? Where is he going to use that heal? In Shadowland, enemies aren't going to attack you in Shadowland anyways, because they're going to be constantly guard broken and stunned and feared and mind controlled and things like that. Now we do have the mind control. There's the mind control. It happens at the end of his 4th skill, so that's a really good thing to take note of. You can safely pop 3 after 4 because he's mind controlled. You can actually do 2 as well, and it seems to have good, like, he seems to have decent damage for, you know, using his own leadership and only having 1 support. He can do a stage 30 almost, where we're not quite there yet, no Obelisk, but because of the poison immunity, right now I don't think I can recommend giving him a poison damage Obelisk. So this is a big disappointment. Netmarble needs to fix this ASAP. So just to reiterate here, guys, on 4 of his 5 skills, you can see that it just says active. There's no tag next to the ability, and there should be a tag. The tag should either say energy, physical, or an elemental type of damage. It's really that simple. You can see here they're all energy. You can see there's energy, physical, and flame, which is fire damage. You can see here there's fire damage, energy, and mind. It's really straightforward. Physical damage. You know, sometimes certain skills don't have a tag for some reason. You can see Massive Bounce doesn't have a tag, Rubber Drill doesn't have a tag, but this seems to be an issue with new characters and new uniforms rather than an issue with you know, all characters in the game. The vast majority of characters have tags next to their skills to indicate what type of damage they're doing. Oh, Electro, lightning damage, look at that. All of his skills are tagged with lightning. And then we've given the example multiple times, but Lizard here has poison. So it's right there. Poison damage, percentage of physical attack. So I really think they need to go and change Brother Voodoo or Dr. Voodoo so that he's dealing poison damage of energy, so that the Voodoo Ritual can actually trigger. Where and when is the Voodoo Ritual actually supposed to trigger? I'm actually really upset at this. They built him basically for Shadowland because of this, because his 4-star passive will literally never trigger in World Boss, which is dumb as hell. You gave him all defense down that ignores immunity, which is good for World Boss. You gave him a leadership, which improves all defense down, which is good for World Boss. But then you gave him a passive that does not work against World Boss. So which one is it, Netmarble? Do you want us to use Dr. Voodoo in World Boss or not? So yeah, with that being said, I'm still going to go ahead and test out this poison damage Obelisk. We're just going to upgrade this random one here that has fire damage. I just want to test and see that it works. I don't really care that the numbers are not going to be stellar. We're not testing it for overall damage. We're not trying to, you know, give him the perfect Obelisk. We're just giving him something that we can work with to see whether there's any shift whatsoever in his damage. So we're going to jump up to 33% poison damage. It's good that there's no proc, so there's really nothing else that's going to be boosting his damage. So we're going to find that poison, that 33%, wherever it is, hiding in the midst here. So here we go, 30, oh, we had another one. Okay, we had a whole bunch. We didn't need to roll that one. Anyways, we've got a 35% poison damage. Okay, we got the crit rate. We don't want the crit rate. We got crit rate again. Okay, 33% poison damage, nothing else. So now he's going to deal an additional 33% poison damage. We can tell here at the bottom there next to mine, he's got 33.8. And then when we put him on a team, we're going to create a second team for him. We'll just do it right over here, and we'll use Dr. Voodoo. And we will use a generic Wasp leadership for like to make sure he doesn't get debuffed or anything like that. And then we will also throw in Ancient One for the elemental damage bonus. And Ancient One's elemental bonus is right here. Increases damage to all elements by 25%. So now when you go back to Brother Voodoo, he's dealing 25% extra damage with all of the elements. But the real important one there is the poison damage, 58%. So that's what we're going to do here, but we're actually going to go with this team right here because that is basically what we're doing instead of Ebony. We're actually missing Ebony now, which is is going to affect the damage, but we already know that the elemental damage is not working, so I'm not really sure why I'm testing this. We know that the poison damage wasn't applying, so you know what, let's just do this. This is basically the same thing, except we can get interrupted or sort of snared or binded or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. This is the same team up, except we should be close to 60% increased on elemental damage, aka poison damage, which apparently Netmarble doesn't want to give to any characters. So all that hype from so many members of the community, hey guys, we're finally going to get a good poison damage character. All these months, all these years I've been saving up for a poison damage obelisk for a specific character. Nope. That is not going to be the case, because apparently Netmarble just doesn't want to give poison damage characters their time in the sun, which makes absolutely no sense to me, but it is what it is. That proc that's triggering is not from a damage proc. It's a shockwave effect that deals a pitiful amount of damage. So don't think that he's dealing more damage because of that. I'm not really sure if he's dealing more damage right now with this, but you can actually cancel 5, which is really nice. You will have to get used to his rotation, definitely, but once he slams down that staff on 5, I think you can cancel it, so you can actually get more abilities in here. And he's dealing energy damage, which makes it harder to tell if he's actually doing damage to Ebony or not. But yeah, I think if you boosted someone's elemental damage by 60% against Ebony, I think you would see a much larger increase in the damage than this. I think this is pretty obviously indicative of the fact that he's not doing extra damage, because this is pretty close. I was at 3 minutes and a half for the last one. We are at 3 and 48, but it's, we're going to get down here with this next one. We improved on his rotation a little bit, but we're only like 10 seconds ahead. There's no way adding 60% poison damage against an elementally weak boss with all defense down would have only increased our time and improved our time by 10 seconds. So, yeah. Dr. Voodoo, great uniform, great skills, good as a tier 1 character or tier 2 because of the leadership and the skills with the all defense down. Possibly very good as a striker as well. You know what? The last thing I want to check out before we go, did they give him the poison damage striker ability? That would be hilariously bad. So let me scroll through and find Dr. Voodoo. So no, they gave him the energy attack passive or sort of striker effect here. But yeah, I'm pretty disappointed to see that Netmarble has not addressed this, and I really hope that they, go in and change his skills to make them poison damage rather than just energy damage, because dealing 30% poison damage every 1 second for 5 seconds, that doesn't work against world bosses. And not only that, but it's only on one of his skills. Literally, one of his skills has poison damage, so his passive is only active when you do his 3rd skill. No other skill applies poison damage. That is really dumb. Oh, his 5th skill does. Okay, so 2 skills. Netmarble, please, do the right thing. Change his 5th skill and his 3rd skill and his 2nd skill and his 1st skill. Make them poison damage for Dr. Voodoo. Let me know what you guys think. Let Netmarble know what you think of Dr. Voodoo. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.